How's it going, Guardians? Shifty here, and today I'm back with another Legend Lost Sector guide. Now today we have one of the new Lost Sectors in the Throne World as the Legend Lost Sector. Now obviously I've never made a guide for these Legend Lost Sectors because they are new to this expansion. Now again, in my Legend Lost Sector guides I try to strike a balance between easily obtainable weapons and making the Lost Sector easy to do. Anyway, here are the details for today's Legend Lost Sector. First, we have Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. It has Solar Burn. There are Arc and Solar Shields. And we have the modifier Fire Pit. Now that we've gone over the Legend Lost Sector details, I want to move on to my loadout. So I am using Void 3.0 and I'm specifically using Mobius Quiver here on a Hunter alongside the Vortex Grenade. Then for my aspects, I have Vanishing Step and Stylish Executioner. And for my fragments here, I have Echo of Undermining, Echo of Remnants, Echo of Persistence, and Echo of Reprisal. Alright, now I want to move on to my weapons. I am using Arbalest in my kinetic slot again because it's just so amazing against barrier champions and it does well at doing damage against other enemies like bosses and other types of champions. Then in my energy slot, I have the new Ogma PR6 Pulse Rifle. This is a solar pulse rifle, so it does increase damage due to solar burn. This will be for unstoppable champions as well. Then in my heavy slot, I have the Ascendancy Rocket Launcher, which also does solar damage, so this will get a 50% damage boost as well. And finally, for my armor mods, I'll just quickly show you each piece of armor, and if you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. I do also want to point out that I am 1542 here, so I am slightly under the 1550 recommended power level. You just need to keep in mind that the lower you go, the less damage you'll do, and the more damage you'll receive, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, that is it for my loadout here. Now, let's get into the run with live commentary. Alright, for this Lost Sector, we are going to have one Arc Shielded Knight right here at the beginning. Make sure to destroy any moths that you see floating around. And there's another one. Now in this next room, we are going to have another spawn of enemies, including a wizard on the right, and there will be a barrier champion on the left. If you need to, you can backtrack through this door to try to avoid grenade spam at all. Now both my rocket launcher and my pulse rifle are going to get a 50% damage boost due to solar burn. That's why I'm pretty much using this primarily right now. Avoid that grenade coming my way. There will be a lot of grenade spam throughout this Legend Lost Sector, so you do have to be aware of that. Trying to clear out most of these acolytes before I go for that barrier champion. I believe that's it, so now it's time to go for the barrier champion. I'm going to make sure Arbalest is reloaded. I missed the crit. And the barrier champion is down. When the barrier champion is down, you are going to get a light bearer hive. I'm going to toss a vortex grenade over there. Do an ascendancy shot, maybe do another one, and that should be enough. And I'll go for the ghost finish. Just take a peek around the area, see if you can find any ammo before you move on to the next room. Now here, there's probably going to be a barrier champion. That barrier champion isn't always there. Sometimes it does push down into this room already. But in this room, I am going to clear out the acolytes before I push any further forward. If you push forward, you will spawn more enemies like this, including an unstoppable ogre right there, and you're going to have a regular ogre to the right. The regular ogre is pretty easy to take out, especially with Arbalest. I'm going to toss a smoke out there. And you do want to be careful for any thrall that push your location. As long as you backtrack, they won't push too far into this corridor here. At this doorway, you do have to be careful for both grenade spam and for the attacks of the ogres. You can see grenade spam from one of the acolytes. I'm just going to go ahead and use some arbalist shots to take out some of these acolytes so I can avoid this grenade spam. You can see one of the light bearers. And since I did go invisible, I am going to go up and try to finish the ghost here. Now, if you aren't on a hunter, you can't do that. And you may have to just clear out some more enemies before you do that. Otherwise, you're going to have to try to avoid this unstoppable champion. Again, if you find yourself in this doorway, you are going to want to avoid the grenade spam. Now, if you are on a Warlock or Titan and did go finish that ghost, but got killed by the unstoppable champion, I wouldn't worry too much. It doesn't really affect your rewards as long as you don't use up all your revives. So it might be a priority to kill that light bearer hive by taking out its ghost before worrying about not dying. So I'm just going to go ahead and use Arbalest on these orange bar acolytes on either side. And that should open up the next door. I do have a moth chasing me right now. Take that out. Now this boss room is going to have a ton of thrall, the boss obviously, but there will also be a barrier champion which we'll need to defeat in order to get a platinum rating. We're going to just take the boss out here, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit so I can take out some more of these enemies before I try to get the chest. Obviously I want to take out the barrier champion as well, which is right there. Let's try to get the barrier. And that barrier champion is down, so we will get a platinum rating. Now, it all depends on what you're comfortable with. If you think you can rush the chest, you can go ahead and do that right now. Otherwise, you can try to take out some of these enemies first. Now, I obviously am on a hunter, so I can go invisible. If you don't have that option, you may just have to take out these enemies. So I am going to go invisible. Otherwise, you can sit in that doorway and try to clear out the room. Or you can try to get past the enemies, but you may end up dying. I just want to warn you of that. Anyway, that is a completion of the Legend Sepulcher Lost Sector on a hunter. Now, for the most part, I avoided using hunter abilities, so this guide should serve as a general guide for any class. Now, I did offer tips for every other class just in case you aren't on a hunter as well. I hope that this guide helped you out, and if it did, remember to like and subscribe. I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.